Thanks for listening to the Clive Barker Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to the imagination of Clive Barker. In this episode 182, we go into the news, talk about the next Clive Barker appearance, book, and movie news, so check it out. This episode is sponsored by Horror Marketplace, your one-stop shop for rare genre items collected from around the world, with some random cool items thrown in for good measure. All of their stock is very limited, and sometimes they have only one of an item for sale. So when they're gone, they're gone. So always go check it out, horrormarketplace.com.
Hey, hello, and welcome to episode 182 of the Clive Barker Podcast. So I'm Jose, and I'm accompanied today by Ryan, as usual.
Hey.
And Rob Ridenauer.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Rob. Hey, Ryan. So, hey, Rob, you recently, I noticed that you recently read Barbie Wilde's first novel, The Venus Complex, right? You bought it over at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Yeah.
And you actually wrote a review about it for the blog.
Yeah, it was a very disturbing, but
Right.
interesting, very interesting book,
Yeah.
to say the least.
It's for those who don't know what it's about. It's about this one guy called Michael Friday, and he has an accident, and his wife is killed in the accident, and then he gets like some sort of brain damage, but he starts getting these crazy dreams, and he goes off his rockers, I guess.
Yeah, he falls into a deep depression and starts his journal.
Yeah,
and that's how the book is formatted into like a journal, kind of like format each. They're numbered, and as each journal goes down, he just slowly, like you said, goes off his rocker. But
yeah,
it's a really great book. I highly recommend it if you're a fan of something like if you're into who is the author of like Red Dragon and Hannibal and Harris. I know it's
Harris. Robert Harris, I think.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right? I don't know. But yeah, I know who you're talking about. The guy who made the trilogy with the Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal. Yeah.
And it's a bit like American Psycho too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it has its own personality to it. And Barbie's a very, very good writer. I was very impressed with her style and how she created this character, and he's kind of an anti-hero. Sometimes you end up really liking him and agreeing with what he has to say about the world.
That's almost the worst part, right? Because you don't want to sympathize with this guy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's really.
Hey, even Hitler liked dogs, so right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
so what else?
It's caused by brain damage too. So in part, it's not his fault.
Yeah, but I always wondered reading that book if was that just a brain damage, or did that just kind of jiggle out something that was like always there?
Already there. I think so. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah, so
it kind of hints that his childhood wasn't very good either.
Mm-hmm.
There are little few parts she throws in where hers,
I read that book back in like 2013.
Yeah.
I think that's when it came out, or maybe even late 2012. I can't remember, but yeah, it's been a while. But yeah, I remember that was really good. And then of course we talked about it on the podcast, and then we also talked about her other book, Voices of the Damned. Yeah. What else are you guys reading right now? Are you reading anything right now?
I just started Scary Tales, and then I'm gonna read Galilee, because I know that's coming up on the podcast, and I'm gonna read Dr. Sleep, because we're gonna make that into a movie. I just saw a report.
Right. There's gonna be. I just saw something on Facebook. Ewan McGregor is gonna be.
Yeah, he's playing the older Danny Torrance.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
They couldn't have gotten a better actor for that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Red Rum. Yeah, cool. I'm still trying to read The Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, right.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah,
it's going well, but it's like you just never seem to have the time to actually get into it. It's really, really like tight. It's very complex, very thick reading. You read like a couple of pages and it's kind of exhausting. I shouldn't say that because I mean it seems like I'm kind of lazy with my reading, but I guess I used to read a lot more. Now I just stay on my computer a lot more than I read, and I'm trying to reverse that.
Did you get to the Council of Elrond?
Well, I'm almost there. Yeah, I'm almost there.
That is like, it's like 5 minutes in the movie, and it's like this god awful amount of pages of. It just goes on forever.
Yeah, like there's this sequence where Frodo is walking from his home in the Shire, and he's going to walk towards another house where he's supposed to meet Gandalf, and it's just like going down the road. But it takes forever, and then there's the Nazgul start like on their ghostly horses or stalking them, and there's that scene where they have to hide under the tree and all that, and then but it goes on forever. It's amazing how much the movies condense the whole thing, and it's like it seems like everything just happens in like a few weeks, but in the book it takes years and years and years for all that stuff to happen. Yeah.
I only got through the first book, so I've never read Two Towers or The Return of the King.
Yeah, and the Hobbit is a lot easier to get through. That's a good primer.
Yeah, and I read read the Hobbit. That's the Smog.
So what's that Scary Tales book you were talking about? Is that a Paul Kane book, or is that like an anthology?
No, that is an old school folklore book.
Oh, okay.
It's like how you can it's kind of broken down into parts. The first part I'm on right now, it kind of tells you how to tell ghost stories to your friends. It tells you, like, it's interesting as you read it. It tells you the appropriate moments when to scare your friends when you're telling it. Mm-hmm. It's kind of more for kids, but it's still cool. It has a kind of that weird, creepy kind of vibe. I love folklores and tales like that.
Yeah.
Like there's one called the Toe, where this kid finds a toe that's been, it's kind of poking up out of the ground. Yeah, and he's going to bed that night. He gets his father to dig it up, and they carve it up. And do they eat it? I don't know if they eat the toe or anything like that.
Was it attached to a body, or it was just a toe?
It was just a toe. Yeah, they don't. Wow. But then, when the kid's going to sleep that night, he gets this voice keep going, "I want my toe," and the toe, I didn't hear that. That was just my imagination. Then he puts the covers over his head again. It's like, "I want my," the voice is getting closer. "I want my toe."
Yikes!
And finally, at the end, it tells you to grab a friend next to you and tell him, "You ate my toe." It's just pretty funny.
There's a website called American Folklore, and they have like stories like that. And I was just Googling that while you were talking, and I discovered the story there. It's called Hairy Toe, and it's supposedly from Spooky Maryland, and it's retold by S.E. Schlosser. It's about an old woman who went out in the woods to dig up some roots to cook for dinner. She spotted something funny sticking out of the leaves and dug around until she uncovered a big hairy toe.
Yeah. And
that's the story. It's hairy toe, hairy toe. I want my hairy toe. And then the old woman says, "I ate your hairy toe." Yeah. Wow. So there's that story. Yeah, that's the scary stories that you were talking about. So that's cool. That's interesting. I'm probably gonna go through these. I kind of like to listen to some creepy pastas every once in a while. So.
Yeah, I like those too.
Yeah.
That's so Rob, I think you might have just named the episode. I just put that "You ate my toe" is the.
Yeah, I have to send you the image that they used in the book.
Oh yeah,
you could use for the it's pretty funny.
Yeah, the next story on that scary stories that I'm looking at the index is one called Hatchet Man, about a warnings all over campus about a hatchet man who was supposedly abused and killed a woman in Bloomington. All the girls were warned to walk in pairs and stay in brightly lit areas if they had to go at night, which I think is a really good segue to me asking you guys, have you seen the newest Halloween trailer?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Seen it a good bit.
I didn't quite understand. I mean, I guess we really need to see the movie, but I didn't quite understand what was this guy doing interviewing Michael Myers and handing him the mask. It's like, what are you
That's the only part I didn't get either.
Yeah,
I was like, why would
you accomplish with that?
Yeah, why are you telling this guy? It's only like in, kind of I guess, make him more interested in, hey, I want to break out again and go out and.
Right.
I hear you, man. I hear you. It's like there's two documentarians.
Restrained. He's just standing there, right? With like.
He is restrained. He's chained to the floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Michael was 21 in the first movie, I think, because he killed his sister when he was 6, and then he spent 15 years in an institution. So that kind of makes him, through my math, fuzzy math, like 21 in the first movie. And now this is supposed to take place 40 years after the first movie. So now he'd be like in his 60s, like 61 or something.
I believe he is supposed to be pretty old in this.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, Brian. Why would a couple of documentarians want to interview a man who never talked for decades, right? At least I'm assuming he doesn't talk because he never talks in the first movie.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He would make like grunting sounds when he'd get hurt. Like, ooh.
Yeah. So
unless they have some in the story, those two or that guy has some kind of like, maybe he's a bad guy or something. He doesn't like Laurie. I don't know.
So this is
it doesn't make sense.
An alternate timeline, right? Like, so the first movie happens, and then 40 years of nothing, and then this one.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the second one wasn't the second one also written by Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he did, but he doesn't want to include this one in the.
Right.
He's kind of erasing part 2 in this one as well.
I forgot the name of the director for this one. It's something Green, right?
Yeah, I've never heard of him. What else is? I know that Danny McBride wrote it. He was one of the writers, the actor, Danny McBride.
Wow. Yeah, he was in that Alien Covenant. And now he does and now he does Mountain Dew commercials, I guess. Yeah, have you seen that one? Do the Dew?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's funny because I was looking at the trailer and I noticed that the documentarians, when they're approaching Michael in the courtyard of the mental institution or whatever it is, they approach him from the back so they can preserve the mystery of his face. And it's like people would never go to someone who has his back turned to them. They go towards the front, right? You go like, oh, there's Michael. Well, let's go there and talk to him. You face the person you're going to talk to, right? And in this one, they're just walking straight. And he's turning his back on them. So I guess it's just to keep the mystery. But a lot of people didn't understand, like, this criticism I've seen a lot in, like, pictures and posters and the trailer comments. It's like, oh, how come his mask also wrinkled up? It's like, it's not really the mask. It's not that the mask aged. It's more like that the imagine that the silicone kind of shriveled up a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
It's that lots of people were saying, that's stupid. His mask aged as well. It's like, yeah, well, rubber masks do tend to like shrivel up.
Not like the face aged. Just the mask got old and messed up.
Yeah, I think
probably been left in like some kind of maybe some kind of I would assume the cops kept it. Maybe locked away in some kind of
evidence locker or something, which still doesn't explain why these two guys. They're making a documentary. How did they get the mask? But I liked parts of the trailer that showed us, how he gets his overalls again. He gets his overalls again. Like you see that there's a scene where one of the documentarians is in a bathroom, and Michael is trying to bring down the door using the body of the other guy documentarian. You notice that?
Oh wow.
When he drops the teeth over the door and then he starts smacking the door. If you freeze frame it, the face of the guy, there's a bloody face like smacking the door from the other side. It's the face of the guy, documentarian. So,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
They're spoiling it with the trailer.
Yeah, they're kind of doing that a little bit, I guess. But the hand coming over the stall and just dropping a bunch of teeth, it's like, oh my God, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah. That's Nick Castle. I think Nick Castle, the original Michael Myers, playing him.
Oh, okay. So it's not Tyler Mane.
No, it's not Tyler Mane at all.
Okay, cool. So they brought the original guy. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
everybody kept saying that, that Nick Castle had this way of moving, that other guys didn't replicate very well. So that's cool. That's interesting. So I'm guessing the first movie ends like Dr. Loomis shoots the Michael Myers and he falls, and then he didn't get
arrested. Yeah, I guess he didn't get far.
Yeah, which kind of takes. How do you feel about that? That it's like he got arrested and probably he was hurt or something. It's the first one. It makes it almost seem like he's supernatural because he's not only shot like a bunch of times, like maybe 3-4 times. I remember
stabbed in the ear with a knitting needle and.
Oh yeah. And in the second one, he gets shot in the eyes, and he's still alive.
Yeah.
So
it just kind of takes away. And this is what sequels do, and this was no different. I don't care if Carpenter's involved or not, but sequels always. Carpenter, what his intentions were with that ending when Michael's gone, was to show that because Michael was a representation of evil in that movie. How evil can never die, and that was the whole point of that ending.
Right.
That Loomis shot the entity as Michael, but he was gone. It was gone because evil is always going to be there.
Yeah,
you can't.
I don't
escape
like
evil.
All the time they took to try to explain why he was the way he was. I'd rather it be mysterious. It's like Hellraiser 2,
me too.
Right? I like Hellraiser 2 because it didn't. Not only did it not explain stuff, it made it more crazy and even more unexplainable. Like introducing the Leviathan, it's like the god is this spinning pyramid or spinning diamond shape, and they're all in this crazy maze. I thought that was awesome. That
and you have this doctor that's interested in all this stuff. Yes, all these things that they never really go into why he's
right.
Other than he just wants to know all this stuff. But that's what makes him a very interesting character.
And not only that, but when they show us the real face of Pinhead, that World War I British officer, they don't really tell us his name or who he was or anything. They just show him reverting back to his human self and then getting killed. And he was supposed to stay dead, I think. But then in the third one, they not only bring him back, but they explain who he is and what happened and all this stuff. And some people, I'm okay with that on the third one when the Elliot Spencer and
I'm fine with
the girl. I'm fine with that, but it's like some people think, maybe you guys shouldn't have explained all that stuff. It's like the whole Elliot Spencer. But I was cool with that. But I know what you mean. Sometimes it's the more they explain or try to explain Halloween and Michael Myers, the more convoluted and crazy it became until like the Curse of Michael Myers, right?
Yeah, I'd hate to I feel bad for I don't know. I mean, being if you'd want to be a writer, like actually have to sit down and explain all this stuff, I'd feel kind of like silly. I'd be like, man, I don't want to write this anymore. This is really dumb.
Well,
I guess that's what
I mean.
And it's like Highlander 2, right? When they're like,
oh, geez, that's the worst.
When you start out and they're like on the planet Zeiss, you're like, oh dear God, what is happening?
Yeah,
this isn't my Highlander anymore.
No. Yes, because it used to be these immortals, right? And then all of a sudden, these immortals are aliens from another planet or whatever.
Yeah. That was like talk about one of the first reboots of any series. I remember seeing that in the theater and going, "What the hell is this now?"
Yeah, and then they ignored it in Highlander 3. They're like, "Okay, that didn't happen. People hated that."
Right. But even the second Halloween, which apparently now is taken off the table again in terms of story. But even the second Halloween, Carpenter tries to kill off Michael Myers, right? I mean, there's one fake out where a Michael Myers looking guy gets slammed between two cars and burns to death. But then at the end, Michael Myers is like in this place where there's like this the gas, right? The
hospital.
Yeah, the hospital, and then boom, and he burns up, and you see the last shot you see is his body on the floor, and his mask is burning, and then they made 3, and then they made 4, and guess what? Michael Myers still alive, isn't like.
There's no way. Like in 4, I remember as a kid, I was thinking, there's no way he has just a few scars on his body, because I mean he was fully engulfed in flames in 2, and I was like,
is 4 the one where he was like by the river? There was some old guy living in a shack that nursed him back to health.
That's part 5.
Oh, is it?
But
5?
yeah, that's still connected to 4.
Yeah.
Part 4 picks up, and the part 5 picks up where 4 left off, and he's still all got like little like burn scars, which I'd never really like I said, that's just a convenience for the filmmakers to make more stories, which is I guess fine. I mean, you try to it's like soap operas. You bring back the villains like Stefano D'Amira from Days of Our Lives, who never died. He must have come back like 100 times.
Yeah. It's like the first and second one take place practically back to back, and then 4 and 5 also take place almost back to back. I just don't know how long it takes between 2 and 4. Because 3, it doesn't have Michael Myers in it. Yeah. But anyway, I'm curious about this. I'm probably going to go see it. And Yeah, I want to see what they do with it. Maybe it'll.
Well, they're releasing it near Halloween too. It's coming out Halloween or October 22nd.
Oh, okay.
None of the other ones came out. It'd always be like summertime, and I never understood that. Or
Right, it doesn't make sense. It makes a lot more sense to bring it out close to Halloween, and not just that. It's probably awesome to go see the movie on actual Halloween night because now you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah,
and and have someone show up like in costume and stuff. That'd be great.
Somebody told me they don't allow people to dress up in costumes now because of the shootings and stuff like that.
Yeah, probably not with masks or anything.
Yeah.
So in other news, Ryan and I ended up talking like a few days ago to Dr. Chris. His name is Chris Denmead, and he's a radio horror host that runs the Radio of Horror blog. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's the longest running horror show in New England, and his show plays on WCUW 91.3 FM in Worcester, Massachusetts. So I guess we'll let you know when it comes out, which should be soon, right, Ryan?
Yeah. I mean, it was a fun conversation. We talked about Hellraiser and sort of horror in general.
That's cool.
Clive Barker stuff. Hopefully a lot of people out there who know Clive Barker but haven't really followed his work too closely, they'll be able to learn a thing or two about some of the stuff that came out. Because I guess for the average person out there, it seems that Clive Barker hasn't really put out a lot of stuff in the last few years. But it's just that it's been really kind of off the radar and really, really low, small run editions. So I guess that kind of falls off the radar for a lot of people. So that should be interesting. We'll share with you guys when Dr. Chris posts this stuff on his blog.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out. That's really cool.
And in the meanwhile, I just want to say that the Dark Ditties, produced by Dead Mouse Productions, have completed Mrs. Wiltshire with Simon Bamford, and I think they're also finishing Finders Keepers, which is going to be another episode of the Dark Ditties Presents. And in case you forgot, the Dark Ditties presented The Offer, which was that movie that had Barbie Wilde and Nicholas Vince and Simon Bamford and Oliver Smith and Kenneth Crenham and a bunch of other authors. So.
And Dark Ditties is mostly like the Dead Mouse people, right? Who did the
Leviathan.
Leviathan.
Yeah.
I think Dark Ditties is probably their fictional production arm.
Yeah. It's like their anthology series title.
Yeah. So, which is cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be fun. We talked a little bit to Simon Bamford about that on our in our interview we did at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
For sure, he showed us a little bit of Mrs. Wiltshire on his iPad that was in post production. So it's really cool. It's going to be fun. I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in that. And don't forget, as this episode comes out, probably it's going to be Sunday. Nicholas Vince is doing a special episode, Chattering with Nicholas Vince, where he's going to talk about vampire movies on June 17th.
I saw that.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you can cast your vote for your favorite vampire, and you can go to his page, facebook.com/Nicholas J. Vince. So go there and check it out.
Oh, cool.
Do we get to add choices? I would want to put like Count Chocula in there.
Actually, I can let you know. Let's see.
Or the Count
there's
from
other.
Sesame Street. Yeah.
There's an other. Please specify. There's a field for you to write it. All right. So there you go.
Maybe the Count from Sesame Street.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so onward to Clive Barker news, right?
Yeah. So Clive Barker is going to be appearing at Days of the Dead. So this is his second appearance this summer. And at any kind of a convention in quite a long time, right? Besides when we saw him at Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Yeah, that's right. So that was announced by Days of the Dead, and they also announced that he's going to do some sort of original art design to be featured on a special limited edition merchandise that you can only get at Days of the Dead Chicago.
Cool.
I think it'll probably be the same thing that we got in Texas, maybe a T-shirt or a poster or both. So we'll see.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what that is. I really like the design that they put on the T-shirt and stuff for Texas Frightmare Weekend.
Yeah,
That was cool.
So that's in Chicago. When
November 16th through the 18th of this year, and it's going to be the Chicago Schaumburg Marriott Hotel.
Yeah.
Yay! You loaded your website way faster than me.
Yeah, I already have it open.
Yeah. So this next one, this confused some people, and there was even like a funny blog that somebody did about this, right? The Hellraiser 3 Rubik's Cube by Mezco. Because there's like two versions of it, right? There's one that looks like a puzzle box, and isn't there one that's got a bunch of pinhead faces on it, and some of them are from Hellraiser
Bloodline
3 and Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently Mezco already put out the Lament Configuration one some time ago. This is like a re-release of that. So, but this time they're coming out with two designs, and one of them is, of course, like it's a 3x3 Rubik's Cube that features the panels from the box. And then the other one, is just it's weird.
Cheap.
I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, it's
kind of cheap. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's from their Puzzle Blocks series, and it combines images from two images at least from Hellraiser Bloodline, and one of them is the cover of Hellraiser 3. So, I don't know. They also have others, like they have ones that have like the new It clown. Different images of that, and they also have another one with Friday the 13th. So, it's their Puzzle Blocks Toys line. So, I don't even know how much it is.
I don't either.
How much is it?
I think they're $13. I think I saw.
There was that blog that guy wrote about it. He's like, what I wanted was a puzzle box shaped like, like a Rubik's Cube shaped like a Hellraiser puzzle box. And he's like, this is what I got. And he shows us the picture with the pinhead faces on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was like the tone of the article was just completely like, this ruined my day. That's what it is. You could tell he was like really upset. It was just
that's strange because the order page is pretty specific on what you get. But anyway, so yeah, you're right. $13 for each of these, and you can buy all of them, including the It one and the Jason Voorhees. And there's like 4 of those for $52. I guess that means you save nothing. It's 13 times 4, 52, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even give you a special price if you buy all 4 of them. But anyway, and the Jason one has that Jason mask. One of them says Jason lives. That's all it says, and the other one is another Jason mask from a poster. So cool. All right. I mean, I have the actual Pyramid Gallery and other handmade Lament configurations. So I don't know. I think I'll pass on this one. But hey, if you're looking for a cheap toy that you can like give your Hellraiser friend, I'm sure he'll have fun with this.
Yeah, if you want a real box, go to the Pyramid, Gallery.
Yeah.
That's where you want to go.
Yeah. One of those toy makers. But the body book, I think they're re-releasing. They're releasing a paperback. Did they release the paperback before?
No, I think this is the first time in paperback and ebook. So that's really nice because it was a limited edition, and we've kind of been complaining here and there about how a lot of the new stuff coming out from Clive Barker is limited. And now you can get this one as a mass market, in some kind of mass market edition, which it has cool stuff. Like, previously it was really rare to be able to read this script from Mick Garris for In the Flesh, the movie.
Right. And
I'm not sure if they're going to, it doesn't say, I didn't see on their site whether they're going to include all that special cool stuff in the paperback and ebook editions. I mean, I hope they do. I wouldn't see why not, but
if they didn't, all you'd get is In the Flesh.
The story. Yeah, the storage.
The Inhuman Condition, right?
I'm guessing the inside is going to be the same thing. I mean, the thing that made the Ultra Deluxe tray cased hardcover edition special was that it was signed by Clive Barker, Mick Garris, Phil and Sarah Stokes, Chris Morey, and James R. Beach. And then it included a unique sketch by Clive Barker, and it was limited to 13 signed and lettered copies worldwide. And it was like, soon case, binding, and hardbound and blue alligator embossed cowhide, and had a premium hand-built tray case. That's why it was called the Ultra Deluxe tray cased hardcover. So, but I think that what's on the inside is going to be the same thing. So now the ebook costs $9, which is a very accessible price if you're into that thing, if you have an iPad or whatever. But the paperback is still going to be $25, which again, it's not a bad price for a paperback, considering if what's on the inside is going to be the same thing. The interviews with Clive Barker and Mick Garris, the original introduction with Phil and Sarah Stokes, the storyboards, the photos, and other behind-the-scenes materials for the Body Politic adaptation that was never revealed until this time. So that's cool. I'm probably going to get the paperback if I can get that one. I'll do a pre-order.
Yeah.
Did we ever talk about this book at all? Because I don't think we have.
We did an episode about it. Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't get that one. So I guess I just kind of talked about the stories, and that's cool.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. And then this isn't such huge news, I guess, because you can already get Nightbreed on Netflix, but it's also streaming for free on TubiTV, TUBI-TV, which I had never heard of until this article. But I guess other people like it. It's like free TV that has commercials in it, right, on the internet.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies on there too.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
a lot of good movies.
I have it installed on my Fire Stick.
Oh, really?
Tubi TV. Yeah, you can install apps on it, and one of them was Tubi, so I installed that one. And I've watched some movies there. TV. Yeah, I haven't watched it again on Tubi TV just because I already seen this movie like countless times.
Right. Well, and it's the director's cut, so if you don't have the Blu-ray of the director's cut, or you don't have Netflix or whatever, I guess see it on Tubi TV.
Yeah. That's cool. So it's still there, I think.
Yeah, and somebody pointed out when we made this post, of course, like they always do, that you can't get this Tubi TV in Europe or whatever. So it's like,
oh, that sucks.
Yeah, one more. It's like they're really careful apparently to make sure that nobody can watch this movie in outside of North America.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but. Hey, we keep saying this. I wish that this could come out by like Arrow or something, or some other company, Revolution or whatever, that they could like license it. They would make a killing. I honestly think that they would sell out whatever editions they did in other countries, because there's people who are going to buy this. I don't understand. I really don't. But. Whatever. It's out of our hands now, so...
Yeah, it doesn't make them money if they just sit on it.
Right, yeah. That's definitely not making them any money.
Yeah.
So... Oh, well.
Yeah. And Rob, I think you had found this right from Kino Lorber's website. They were having a sale. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but Rawhead Rex was only $15, and a bunch of other stuff was like 50% off.
Yeah, a lot of their entire catalog, and they've got a lot of good stuff on there.
And if you remember, Rawhead Rex was a Kino Lorber like special edition 4K transfer or 4K restoration transfer of which was an amazing copy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm trying to figure out if they are still selling it for that price, and it says here, Rawhead Rex special edition DVD. Wait, was it DVD or was it a Blu-ray?
It was a Blu-ray.
Oh, okay, Blu-ray. Yes, they still have it. Instead of $29.95, they have it for $14.98, 50% off.
Yay.
On Blu-ray, and the DVD version is just $9.98.
Yeah.
Go there, kinolorber.com.
Grab it. I mean, you try to buy the American DVD or the North American DVD, it's like $100 on eBay because it's hard to find.
And it's got a lot of stuff too. It's got the audio commentary with the director, Georges Pavlou. It's got Murderous Passions, the delirious cinema of Jesus. Wait, no, that's not it. It has an interview with the actor. That I was just reading the name of the audio commentary is moderated by Stephen Thrower, the author of The Delirious Cinema of Jesus Franco and Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci. But then there's an interview with the actor who played Rawhead Rex, and there's another interview with the actor that played Declan O'Brien.
Yes.
And,
I hope.
And then there's an interview with special effects crew members and the cameraman and the author, comic book author Stephen R. Bissett, who was the co-creator of John Constantine, instructor at the Center for Cartoon Studies, because he once was the guy in line to make a comic book adaptation of Rawhead Rex. And I remember seeing his unused designs and his like sketches of Rawhead Rex, and they were pretty cool.
They were really good.
Yeah.
I mean, the comic they ended up making for Rawhead Rex was just as good. So it's not like, it's not a tragedy.
So it's a wonderful adaptation. Yeah, the Eclipse comic book graphic novel.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So you can now watch this turkey in 5.1 surround audio and 4K. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's nothing anybody would have ever expected, but it's like Christmas present, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's true.
And and Jose, you had just added this one, right? The Scream magazine is featuring Hellraiser Judgement on the cover.
It did. It for their 48th issue. Scream magazine is from the UK, and they have like 100-page issue of number 48 that has a interview with Gary J Tunnicliffe. And I believe that this might have been the April issue, but I think it just now made it to Barnes and Nobles in America. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
our friend. Look for it.
Yeah, our friend Laurie Bichet, who runs Simon Bamford Fans, she posted a picture of herself a couple of days ago at a Barnes and Noble, just pointing at the magazine. And also, Paul T. Taylor posted on his page that come buy them at Barnes and Noble before I buy all of the issues myself. And so
yeah,
so
he's really excited about Hellraiser Judgement, which is awesome. And I think
it is. Yeah,
it is. So, does this mean that you can get Hellraiser Judgement in Europe and the UK, or?
I think so. Somebody mentioned that they ordered it off Amazon in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Well, good.
Because it was going to be based off how it was received, in the States before they did a UK release. And overall, I think the UK release was a success to warrant the US release was a success to warrant a UK release.
I don't see how they could not make money. I mean, considering the budget.
The budget.
So there's one last item in the news. So this item was actually posted by Revelations in the Clive Barker archive in May 21, and I guess it kind of escaped us, just like Frank escaped the Cenobites.
I wanted to do a blog of this, but I couldn't I couldn't find enough information on what was this. I'll just let you talk about it.
Okay, so this is something that's going to come up in June 30 in France, and so it's. There's apparently a festival called Jour du Bis, which means the day of. How do I translate this from Spanish? Well, when you like something, you say bis to mean like we want to see this again, like repeat it. And so this is the Jour du Bis, and it's going to be the 6th edition, and they have a poster. So it's going to be. Saturday, June 30, I'm translating on the fly from French, at the Cinéma La Scala in the town of Thionville in France. And they're going to project 5 movies at this event. It's going to be Piranha, the bird with the crystal feathers. I don't know how to translate this title. It's probably got a different name in America.
The bird with the crystal plumage. It's a Dario Argento
Yes.
movie.
Yeah, there you go. And the first 3 Hellraisers, Hellraiser 1, Hellbound, and Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, good. Thanks, Rob, because, I never seen this movie by Dario Argento. But anyway, so, yep, don't miss the 6th edition of this festival if you're listening to us in France. Go to Thionville, and you can see the Jour du Bis, where you can see Piranha, the bird with the crystal plumage, and then Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3. And it seems like a pretty awesome festival to be at, to be honest.
I love the poster because it does, this cool thing where it's like the piranhas and the birds.
Yeah, the piranhas are. Yeah,
something to Pinhead. I mean, it's really strange. It's like the piranhas are going to eat Pinhead.
Yeah, the piranhas are like stuck on his pins, and then there's like a bird landing on Pinhead's head, and it's supposed to be the bird from the Dario Argento poster film. So yeah, that's cool. You know, I mean, if you're still, I'm glad that we're still in time to let people know about this, even though it's probably going to be just a small percentage of French people who are able to attend, because it's going to be in 2 weeks from now. So Thionville, France, Jour du Bis, 6th edition, 5 awesome movies screening. So go check it out.
Man, I still wish I could have seen Hellraiser on the big screen at
I know. That sucked.
Oh well.
What was it that caused that to happen? Was it a bird that caused that?
It was a duck got into the engine of the plane before it landed. So then they spend extra time, you know, preparing the plane and checking it.
Which, I mean, I can understand that. Yeah.
Wiping all the mucky red stuff from the engine, I guess.
And I don't I don't begrudge them that, because I'm glad that they made the airplane safe and everything. But
yeah, exactly.
So that turbine engine tore that duck apart.
That's right.
We'll tear your duck apart. Anyway, that's the way the duck crumbles, I guess.
Yes.
So coming soon, we're going to be talking about Marvel Hellraiser Comics Part 6.
Yeah, so books 17, 18, and 19.
We're getting close to the end, folks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, then later on we'll do like 20 and the Hellraiser 3 adaptation and the summer special and the Christmas special.
Yay, I love those. The specials are really awesome. I really like those.
And that'll finish up our Marvel Hellraiser series.
Yeah, and we're getting close to talking about everything. Now we're going to be talking about one more book this year, and it's going to be Galilee. Mm-hmm. So, Rob, you already started reading it, and
started.
It's one of those books that Clive Barker seems like he wanted to start like yet another trilogy or some sort of like multiple book story, and then he never touched it again that we know of.
It's also the only novel of his that's written in the first person.
Ah.
Yeah.
So it's just one through one character's voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's just this one guy who is writing his family's history, and he does that by going into the special room in his house and just kind of tripping out and remembering things that he never could have remembered because he wasn't really there. But, you know, somehow the house is feeding him all these memories or something. So it's kind of a weird mechanic behind that storytelling thing. But it kind of worked, I guess. You know, it's two families. One of them is a powerful human family. The other one is a powerful, I don't know what I should call it.
They're like demigods, I guess.
Demigods, yeah. So the humans have money and the demigods have actual power instead of just money. So the Giris and the Barbarossas.
Yeah, that's what they were. I was reading the synopsis on the sleeve last night.
Yeah, I'm just going by memory here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
Yeah. So Galilee is going to be interesting to talk about that. It's going to be a little disappointing for me because it's like I'm going to be reading that and I'm going to be talking about it and I'm going to be just wanting to know where the story is going to move next. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't think that Clive's ever going to touch this again. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's true.
There's a possibility, I guess. There's always a possibility, but I don't even know what sort of notes he has on it, even though I think there may be notes for Galilee 2 and 3, but they may just be.
And I think a lot of it was inspired by his husband, you know, he's not with anymore. And
David Armstrong.
Yeah.
David Emilion Armstrong. And
that's who he dedicates the book to, and I was looking at the dedication page.
Right, and you know, there's stories about going to Hawaii and an island in Hawaii and all that, where Clive Barker used to have a house, and now he doesn't have that house anymore. And I guess, I don't know. It seems like this was written in a time where he was like writing this kind of different mindset, and I don't know if he's ever going to go back to that mindset again. But he tried to do something different, that's for sure. Because he wrote this book in kind of a different way. It's still very clearly Clive Barker like Magica, Weave World-ish kind of writing, but at the same time, he was going more towards this. I think there was a review that called it like Jackie Collins meets something else, and it's like
right. It was a romance novel.
Romance.
But it has his Clive Barker fantasy in it.
Yeah. So on the blog, we have, like we mentioned at the beginning, we have the book review of the Venus Complex that Rob wrote. So go read that, and hopefully it'll inspire you, in case you haven't bought this book yet, to buy the book.
Yeah, it's very much worth it.
It's great. That's one of the neat things about doing this podcast is we get to learn about this kind of stuff that we may not have, otherwise been paying attention to.
Very true. Yeah.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Find the show notes for this episode and join the discussion over at www.clivebarkercast.com, where we have news and links to all the ways you can connect with us. You can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and every other place you can find podcasts. The Clive Barker Podcast is an independent editorial podcast and news blog that is not affiliated with or under contract by Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans.
Thanks for listening.